I can't bring you to New Year's. My old coworker is coming, and it'll be awkward, she told me after I bought her family thoughtful gifts and booked the cabin trip. So I packed her things and never looked back. Nicole barely looked up from her phone while I held out the carved whiskey glasses I'd gotten for her dad. That's when I knew something was off. I was talking about how they were handmade in Vermont, how her dad mentioned once he hated the mass-produced stuff. She just muttered, "Cool," and kept texting. My name's Drew. I'm 28, live in Columbus, Ohio. I'd been dating Nicole for 2 years, and until that moment, I was sure she was it for me. No doubts, no backups. She got me, or at least I thought she did. I come from a family that makes a big deal out of everything. Birthdays, anniversaries, hell, even Groundhog Day if someone brings pie. We show love by showing up. That's how I love people, by planning, preparing, giving a damn. So for our first New Year's together, I went all in. I booked a weekend at a lodge up in Hocking Hills. Fireplace, hot tub, private balcony, the works. Her favorite local band was playing at the bar there that Saturday night. I made sure of that. And I didn't just buy gifts for her. I got something for each of her family members. Stuff that actually mattered. Her mom's favorite candle brand, the vintage cookbook her sister had once mentioned, the exact gardening gloves her aunt liked. I remembered all of it. But starting around mid-December, Nicole got distant. She'd give half replies, stay on her phone during dinner, claim she was just stressed about work. But when I'd ask what was going on, she'd just shrug and say she was tired. Then she started bringing up her old coworker, Jason, casually at first. "Oh, Jason moved back." Or, "I ran into Jason at Kroger." I didn't think much of it. I trusted her. I didn't want to be that guy who flips out every time a woman says a man's name. Quick note, before we go further, share which country you're watching from. But it kept happening. Jason said this. Jason recommended that. One night, she mentioned how Jason just gets people, and something in the way she said it made my stomach tighten. I asked her straight up if anything was going on, and she laughed, told me I was overthinking, said Jason was just a chill guy, and I shouldn't be so serious all the time. Still, I pushed the feeling aside, told myself not to get in my own head. I kept planning the trip, kept picking out gifts, kept showing up, even when she didn't. Because that's what you do when you care about someone. You don't back off. You double down. She finally looked up. "Don't bother wrapping them," she said. "I'm not going." I stared at her. "What do you mean you're not going?" Nicole set her phone down like we were just having a casual conversation and said, "Jason invited me to go somewhere for New Year's instead. I'm going with him." I didn't say anything at first. I just stood there, holding the damn whiskey glass box like an idiot. My chest felt like someone hit it with a cinder block. She went on like she hadn't just thrown a grenade. "Look, I know this is sudden, but everything with you lately feels mapped out, like you're planning my life. Jason's different. He's spontaneous, and I don't feel so scheduled with him." I set the box on the table and crossed my arms. "So this trip I planned for us, the band you love, the cabin, that's just too much structure for you?" She sighed, like I was the one being unreasonable. "It's not about the trip. It's how you are. Everything has a checklist. Everything's a project. Sometimes I just want to feel like I can breathe." I kept my voice low, because if I didn't, I was going to say something I'd regret. "And Jason gives you room to breathe?" She nodded. "Yeah, he doesn't try to fix everything. He just lets things happen." That was the moment, not just realizing she was leaving, but realizing why. She wasn't just picking some random guy over me. She was rejecting everything about the way I show love, the thought I put in, the way I remember people's stories, and try to give them something that makes them feel seen. "I see," I said. Nicole looked away. "I just think this is better for both of us. You'll find someone who appreciates all that structure." "You mean effort?" She didn't answer that. Instead, she picked up her mug and walked toward the kitchen. "Also, about my parents' party on the 31st. I think it'd be weird if you came. Jason might be there. It'll just be awkward for everyone." That part stung worse than I expected. I'd known her parents for 2 years, helped her dad build a new shed last summer, played board games with her mom on Sundays. I'd already wrapped their gifts. I knew what her sister was allergic to, and now I was being uninvited from their family because she chose to bail 3 days before our trip. I didn't yell. I didn't plead. I just stood there for a second, then walked to the hall closet and pulled out the duffel I bought for her last Christmas. Tossed it on the bed. "What are you doing?" she asked. "Packing your stuff," I said. "You're going with Jason. Might as well go now." "Drew, you don't want structure? Cool. Here's chaos. Go figure it out." She tried to say something, but I didn't let her finish. I went into the closet, grabbed her coat, her boots, whatever she left here on a regular basis, tossed it all onto the bed. Then I picked up the gift bag for her mom and handed it to her. She loves eucalyptus, by the way, in case Jason asks. Nicole took the bag slowly, like it was radioactive. "You're giving them the gifts?" "I didn't buy those for points. I bought them because I cared." She blinked hard. "You're not even going to try to talk about this?" "There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice. I finished packing her bag while she stood in the doorway, silent. I zipped it up, set it down, and held the door open. She walked out without another word. No hug, no apology, not even a goodbye. I shut the trash lid and just stood there in the kitchen for a minute. Everything felt loud, the fridge humming, the clock ticking, the quiet. I poured myself a glass of water and sat on the couch, staring at the tree we'd decorated 2 weeks ago. Her name was still on one of the stockings. New Year's Eve came, and I didn't do a damn thing. I ordered pad thai, left the TV on some fireworks special just for background noise, and didn't touch my phone once. No calls, no texts, nothing. I didn't even check the weather. The next morning, I called my dad. First thing, I needed his voice. He answered with, "You all right?" I said, "She's gone. Took off with that Jason guy." There was a short pause. Then, in his dry, steady voice, he said, "Son, if someone walks out right before a holiday, they weren't someone to keep around after it." That hit hard. In the best way. She said I'm too planned. Too much, I said. Effort's only too much for people who don't give a damn, he said. That girl never matched you. She just liked what you gave her. I didn't say anything else. He didn't need me to. We just sat on the line for a while, silent, like we used to do during fishing trips. That night, around 11, my phone finally buzzed. Nicole. I let it sit there vibrating until it stopped. Then it buzzed again. I gave in and read it. "Jason doesn't get my family. He didn't talk to anyone. I didn't know what to tell them about you." What should I say? I didn't respond. A few minutes later, another text came through. My mom cried when she opened the candle. She said it was the nicest thing anyone's ever given her. I think I made a mistake. I stared at those words until the screen dimmed. That was the first time I felt something other than anger. I felt tired, like bone-deep tired. She didn't regret hurting me. She regretted how it looked. I turned off my phone and tossed it across the couch. That was the last night I let her take up space in my head. Next morning, I opened up my laptop and updated my resume. I'd been talking about switching jobs for months. Never pulled the trigger. I made a list of companies and started applying that week. Got serious about it. I also joined a weekend basketball league at the rec center downtown. Nothing fancy, just Saturday games with guys who needed to blow off steam and didn't want to drink every night. I was out of shape, rusty as hell, but it felt good to be part of something again. I hit up Tyler, one of my college friends I hadn't seen in over a year. He invited me to poker night. Then I reconnected with Marcus, an old neighbor who started taking photography classes. We'd meet up at the coffee shop and just shoot the breeze for an hour or two. Nothing heavy. None of this fixed everything, but it gave me space. It gave me motion. I stopped checking her socials. I stopped wondering if she'd call. I started rebuilding what I let fall apart while I was pouring everything into her. The gym smelled like old rubber and cheap soap. I was halfway through a set of curls when my phone lit up with her name, Nicole Mobile. January 3rd. Took her 6 days. I stared at the screen for a second. Then I wiped my hands on my shirt and stepped outside to take the call. Not because I owed her anything, but because I wanted to hear how she'd spin it. Her voice came through fast, almost panicked. "Drew, I know I probably shouldn't be calling, but I didn't know who else. Jason told me he wasn't looking for anything serious. He just disappeared." I didn't say anything, just leaned against the brick wall and waited for the rest. She sniffled. "I made a huge mistake. Can we meet? Just to talk. I need to explain." I cut her off. "You don't need to explain anything. You made it pretty clear." "It didn't mean I didn't care about you," she said quickly. I thought I wanted something different." "No," I said. "You like the idea of someone like me, not the reality of someone who shows love through effort, through planning, through actual follow-through. That's not fair." "It's exactly fair." She went quiet. I could hear her breathing, fast and shaky. "I didn't know what I had until I lost it," she said softly. I looked out across the parking lot, salt-crusted snow piles and dead trees. "Well, I'm glad you figured that out," I said. "But I've already moved forward. Can we please just meet? One coffee, that's it." "No, Drew, I'm not your fallback plan. You didn't just ditch a weekend. You ditched me, everything I brought to the table." There was a long pause. I waited for her to hang up. Instead, she whispered, "I really messed this up." "You did," I said, then ended the call. That should have been the end of it. But she kept calling, different times, different excuses. One time she said she left something at my place. Another time she asked if I still had the Spotify playlist we made. I stopped answering completely. Then her friends started chiming in. Amy DM'd me saying I was being cold, said Nicole was in a really hard place and just needed closure. Closure? She got all the closure she needed when she walked out with Jason's shadow behind her. I didn't respond to any of them. Not because I wanted to punish her, because I didn't care anymore. I didn't feel like giving her access to the version of me she wasn't built to handle. She wanted fireworks without the wiring, wanted warmth without the wood. The old me might have folded, might have said, "Sure, let's talk," just to be decent. But decent doesn't mean playing doormat for someone who didn't value you when it counted. I finished those last 2 sets like I was burning every leftover thought of her out of my body. Left the gym soaked in sweat and something that finally felt like peace. By mid-March, the air didn't sting anymore. I'd been hitting the court on Saturdays, knocking out job interviews during the week, and I finally landed a promotion, project lead on a new client rollout. More hours, more pressure, but I wanted it. I was getting back to myself, not the guy trying to be chill enough to fit somebody else's version of love. I picked up photography on a whim after one of Marcus's meetups, bought a secondhand DSLR from Facebook Marketplace, and started messing around with it on weekend hikes. Turns out, lining up a good shot and planning the details around it, pretty damn satisfying. Even better when no one rolled their eyes about it. That's when I met Rachel. She was running a pop-up booth at the Metro Park trailhead, local honey, handmade candles, that kind of thing. I asked her if the lemon cedar one actually smelled like lemon. She grinned and said, "Try it, but if it reminds you of furniture polish, that's on you." I laughed, and she held eye contact like she wasn't in a rush to be anywhere else. We ended up talking for 20 minutes before I realized I was blocking 3 people in line. I bought the candle anyway, still have it in the kitchen. A week later, we grabbed coffee, then lunch. Then we just kept going. Rachel was different. She didn't flinch when I mentioned how I planned stuff ahead. She didn't look at me sideways when I sent her a reminder about a reservation. She actually said, "It's nice not having to guess what someone's thinking." The real moment that stuck with me, though, was when she asked for help planning a birthday for her dad. She wanted to cook his favorite meal and surprise him with a photo collage of their hiking trips over the years. I dove in, got the prints made, found a rustic frame online, even helped her track down a vintage trail map he used to talk about. After dinner that night, she pulled me aside, looked me right in the eye, and said, "No one's ever helped me like that. You made it mean something." She didn't say it like I saved her life or wrote her a poem. She said it like it mattered, like it was enough. She didn't call me too much. She called me thoughtful. She slid into the passenger seat with a bag of takeout and a grin. "Okay, hear me out," Rachel said. "What if we do your dad's brisket and my mom's stew? Both families win, no one fights, and I get leftovers for like 3 days." It was the first week of December, and we'd just come from the tree lot, our first holiday season together. She was pumped about meeting my parents. I was already planning dinner at her place the night before. It felt easy, honest, like we were on the same page without trying. We got back to my place, set the food down, and sat on the couch, half talking, half scrolling through gift ideas. I had a note open on my phone with her mom's book wish list, her dad's fishing gear, her sister's new puppy. I was already tracking it all. Rachel leaned over, looked at the list, and said, "You're a gift planning machine. You'd kill it at Santa's workshop." I laughed. I just like when people feel remembered. Then my phone buzzed again. Text preview popped up on the lock screen. "Nicole, hey, hope you're doing okay. Been thinking a lot lately." I didn't say anything right away, just stared at the screen. I hadn't heard from her since I blocked her back in January. Either she got a new number or figured I'd unblocked her, which I hadn't. The name still brought a twist in my chest, not pain, just a quiet annoyance. Like hearing a song you used to like, but can't stand now. Rachel caught the look on my face and tilted her head. "Everything good?" I turned the phone so she could see. "Nicole." She blinked, then looked back at me. "You want to reply?" I paused, then shook my head. "No." I swiped it away and deleted the thread. Rachel just nodded. Okay, that was it. No lecture, no follow-up, no weird energy. That one word, "okay," said more than any long conversation ever could. It told me she trusted me. It told me she respected the way I handled things. And more than that, it told me she wasn't trying to compete with some ghost from the past. She knew where I stood. We went right back to the gift list. She pulled up a picture of a goofy fishing hat and said, "This is terrible, which means your future father-in-law would love it." I laughed and added it to the list. Her hand rested on my knee while she scrolled through more ideas. No tension, no drama, just normal, good company with someone who didn't make me feel like I had to prove anything. 2 nights later, we were walking into Eric's annual holiday party, arms linked, carrying a bottle of wine and a tray of Rachel's baked mac and cheese. The place was packed, ugly sweaters, glittery dresses, couples swapping gifts by the tree. Holiday chaos in full swing. Rachel looked over at me and said, "You okay?" I nodded. "Yeah, just hoping no one spikes the cider this year." We laughed and made our way through the crowd. I hadn't thought about Nicole again since that text, but the second we walked in and I spotted her standing near the fireplace, phone in hand, alone, I knew it'd be one of those nights. She hadn't seen us yet. Her hair was curled the way she used to do when she wanted attention, and she was wearing the same perfume that used to live on my couch cushions. But she didn't look good, not in the glowing, confident way. She looked restless, like she didn't know what to do with herself. Rachel followed my line of sight and caught on fast. She squeezed my hand once. That hurt. Yeah, got it. We kept moving. Said hi to Eric, set down the food, made the rounds. Rachel was her usual easygoing self, friendly, calm, the kind of person who knew how to hold a conversation without making it all about her. It didn't take long for people to warm up to her. I stood back at one point just watching her talk to Eric's wife about something family-related, and all I could think was she fits. Not just with me, but with my world. Nicole approached about 40 minutes in. I saw her out of the corner of my eye walking over, slow like she was still deciding whether to do it. Then she stopped right in front of me and smiled like we were old friends. You look good, Drew, she said. I glanced at Rachel. She stepped up next to me without hesitation. I put my arm around her waist. Nicole, this is Rachel. Rachel, this is Nicole. Rachel gave a polite smile. Hi, nice to meet you. Nicole smiled back, but there was a flicker in her eyes. She knew. You two seem close, she said, glancing at my arm. We are, I replied. Nicole looked around, then said, Eric's parties haven't changed, huh? Still chaotic, I said. There was an awkward beat. Then she leaned in slightly and asked, You ever miss it? Rachel didn't move. She just stood there calm, steady, present. I looked Nicole dead in the eye. I still plan things, still put in the effort, but now I do it with someone who actually values that. Nicole blinked. That wasn't fair. Rachel cut in, warm but firm. We were just talking about our trip next week. He's got a whole itinerary worked out. Gifts for my family already wrapped. My dad cried when he saw the one Drew found him. Nicole's face cracked just a little. Sounds nice, she said quietly. Rachel nodded. It is nice. Nicole opened her mouth again, probably to say something that would circle back to the past, but I stepped in first. I hope you're doing all right, Nicole, I said. Really, but there's nothing back there I miss. What I've got now, it's better in every way. She swallowed hard and looked away. I should let you guys get back to the party. Rachel smiled. Take care. Nicole nodded and turned back toward the fireplace, alone again. I didn't feel smug. I didn't feel angry. I felt done. I just grabbed a brownie off the dessert table when Nicole found me again. Rachel was talking with Eric near the drinks, and I was alone for maybe 90 seconds. That's all it took. Can we talk? Just the two of us? She asked. I set the napkin down. About what? She bit her lip, glanced around like someone might stop her. I need to say something. I motioned toward the hallway off the kitchen. 2 minutes. We stepped around the corner where it was quiet, out of sight. She folded her arms, eyes bouncing everywhere but my face. I've changed, she said. I've been doing a lot of thinking since everything happened. Therapy, journaling. I know I was selfish. I know I blew it. I didn't speak. I just let her get it out. She stepped closer. I didn't understand how rare it was. Someone like you. All the thought you put in. The way you made things feel real. I took it for granted. I know, I said simply. I'm not asking for anything crazy, she added quickly. Just a chance to reconnect. To show you I'm not that same person. I looked her straight in the eye. I believe you've grown. And I hope you keep growing. She blinked fast, like she wasn't expecting that answer. But I'm not interested, I added. Her mouth opened slightly, then shut. She stared at the floor for a second. You really don't want to see where this could go? No, I said. I already know where I'm going. And it's not backwards. She exhaled through her nose, hard. I guess I deserve that. I shrugged. You don't deserve anything from me, good or bad. We're just done. That word landed. Her shoulders dropped. Rachel's a good one, she said softly. She is, I replied. She finally looked up at me, face pale, lips tight. All right, I won't bother you anymore. I nodded. Take care of yourself. She gave a stiff nod, then turned and walked out of the hallway. I waited a few seconds, then headed back toward the noise and warmth. Rachel was mid-laugh when I came back over. I slipped my arm around her waist, and she leaned into me without missing a beat. No questions, no guessing games, just trust. We spent the next hour talking, laughing, catching up with old friends like nothing had happened. Because in my mind, nothing had, not really. That moment with Nicole, that was the credits rolling on a movie I'd already stopped watching. On the drive home, Rachel was quiet for a while, watching the snow flurry across the windshield. Then she asked, You think she'll reach out again? I kept my eyes on the road. No. She saw what she needed to tonight. Rachel didn't respond, just nodded slowly and rested her head against the window. I reached over and took her hand. It was warm, steady, real. We pulled into the driveway with 2 cups of hot chocolate and Christmas music still playing low on the radio. Rachel reached for the bags in the back seat, but I stopped her. Go inside. I got it, I said. She grinned. Bossy tonight. Festive, I corrected, grabbing the gifts we'd picked up earlier. That week, our apartment turned into full-on holiday prep mode. The kitchen smelled like stew and smoked meat for 3 days straight. I'd spent October cross-referencing brisket recipes with my dad and helping Rachel's mom write down her stew instructions, which were more like chaotic suggestions. Everything was wrapped, labeled, and stacked under the tree. I had a spreadsheet. Rachel didn't even roll her eyes. She looked through it with me and said, "I love how your brain works." That hit deeper than it probably should have. Last Saturday, I passed by a vintage toy shop downtown while picking up wine. In the front window was a replica of that board game Nicole's dad loved, the one I tracked down 2 years ago. Same exact cover art, same scuffed edges. I stood there for a minute, staring at it, but nothing came up. Not anger, not regret, just a passing thought. Did she ever explain why I wasn't there that year? Then it was gone. I walked 3 doors down and found the final piece for Rachel's gift, a framed photo of her dad hiking with her when she was 6. I'd emailed her aunt to track it down. That's love to me. Remembering, paying attention, making someone feel like they matter on a Tuesday, not just holidays. And Rachel gets that. She doesn't just accept it. She meets me there. Shows up the same way. That's why I've had the ring hidden in my sock drawer for 2 weeks. White gold, classic cut. Simple, not flashy, just real, like her. We're hosting New Year's dinner at our place this time. Her folks are bringing dessert. My dad's in charge of drinks. And Rachel's sister already called to ask if we could start early because her kids can't wait. It feels right. No tension, no show, just family showing up for each other. She thinks I'm giving her the big gift on New Year's night. She's wrong.